Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and this is the Not So Serious Keto video podcast. In my last podcast, I got a number of comments from people saying that they felt that the podcast ended a little bit abruptly. I'd been talking about, I think, promos and ads, and then at some point I just stopped, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't watch my videos after I post them. And I chalk it up to probably that was the last video I recorded before I started doing coffee again. And I think it was just probably I wasn't paying attention while I was editing. I know I cut out a fairly significant portion of the podcast because it was like 34 minutes long and I wanted to get it fairly close to 20. So it was probably just bad editing. But what I will say, what I meant to say, or what I was trying to lead up to that I cut out was, first off, if I ever do a promo on this channel where I'm actually, I kind of insert my own comment, this video is brought to you by, it probably won't be a keto product. It would have to be like a kitchen product or, something like Crowd Cow or something like that. But in my opinion, that's probably a long, long ways away and nothing that any of us need to worry about. The thing I was leading up to, and I can't remember if I included it in the podcast or if this was the chunk that got cut out, is I will actually be doing my first ever commercial. I will be doing a commercial for Perfect Keto, specifically their beauty and sleep collagen product, just because I love this stuff. They have asked me in the past to do little ad snippets for them. I think the first one might have been the birthday cake flavored keto bar, which I did not like at all, and I told them so. And I told all of you, I think, as well in the interview that I thought they were gross. I think they also asked me to do something for their peanut butter cookie, which I didn't do either. In my opinion, if I'm going to get behind a product, if I'm going to lend my name to a product, it has to be something that I love and that I myself use religiously. And that's why I finally agreed I would do something for the beauty and sleep product. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to be pimping it during my videos or anything like that. I'm just going to record a commercial and then they can do whatever they want. Maybe it appears as an ad before my video if you don't have YouTube Premium. I don't know. But it's not a sellout because I love that product. Also on the topic of comments, and I know some people don't like it when I talk about comments, especially when I talk about like bad comments, because you feel that I'm just feeding the trolls and that's going to encourage them to make more comments. This one though, occasionally I will get ones that are it just makes me shake my head and laugh. I got one on the video that I did where I was caramelizing various sweeteners. So I think I had Bocha Sweet and Allulose and Swerve. And basically I was trying to caramelize them in butter. And I got a comment from a person that said, first of all, those are all horrible sweeteners. What I should use is sucralose because you can substitute it 1-for-1 for sugar. Not Splenda, but sucralose. The person made sure to specify that because, I think 98, 99% of a packet of Splenda is maltodextrin. But they said they were very specific. Sucralose is a 1-to-1 substitute for sugar. That was the first thing they said that was incorrect. I think it's 1/32 of a teaspoon of sucralose is the same sweetness as a cup of sugar. But then here's the fun part. They said, and I can't believe you're melting it in butter. That's a heart attack waiting to happen. You should use a healthy fat like margarine or canola oil. I'm just going to leave that there. I'll let you process that right there. It amazes me. It amazes me. And all we can do, I guess, within this community is continue to be examples of the fact that that's wrong, that eating healthier fats, and I think any fat is healthier than margarine or canola oil. But yeah, I'm still just thinking about it. I'm still sort of speechless. And this is why I don't get real zealous about keto in front of other people. I think it's far better to sort of keep, whether it's opinions or facts or whatever, to myself and just be an example. Be an example of health. Be an example of the weight a person can lose. Be an example of how just sort of everything in your life improves inflammation, your skin. I mean, we've talked about this time and time again during the podcast, all of the little subtle side effects of eating keto. I don't know. Maybe people will come around eventually. And I apologize if that little first chunk of the podcast was a little bit rambly. That's just where my mind is right now. Where else is my mind? Oh, a couple of new upgrades in my life that I think kind of impact serious keto. First of all, I got a new fridge. My old fridge, it was a GE fridge. It was about 25 years old. You can hear it in a lot of videos. There's sort of this humming sound, and I thought it was the condenser fan. I replaced the condenser fan, didn't make things any better. Started having thermostat issues as well. The temperature in the freezer would just vary wildly. You know, it would be 10 below zero, and then it would be 20 degrees. So I broke down, got a new fridge. It is infinitely quieter. The weird thing is, refrigerators, I mean, first, they've gotten wicked more expensive over the course of the last 25 years, but size-wise, they've changed as well. The refrigerators now are taller, so I had to remove a bunch of cabinetry and basically raise it up by about an inch so that this new fridge would fit. Additionally, fridges now are either deeper or narrower than they were back 25 years ago. So you either get a counter depth, which is less deep, which is what I had to get because I don't have a lot of space between my fridge and my island in the kitchen. Or if you get a standard version, I would have lost another 6 inches. So got the new fridge. That's kind of cool. I also upgraded my internet service to gigabit. And that means the cool thing for that basically is now I can upload videos a lot faster, which doesn't mean probably a whole lot to you because it's either there or it's not there, but it does mean a lot to me that I can get a video up a lot more quickly. The thing is, what both of these have in common is, as exciting as it sounds, like to have a new fridge or to have gigabit, oh boy, I can't talk. This should go in the blooper roll. Gigabit internet is, you get it and you're like, okay, now what? You know, the fridge, all right, it's a fridge. It's quieter. You open it up, okay, still holds food. Gigabit internet, so much is throttled in terms of services like Xbox, downloading a game on the Xbox or downloading a game on Steam, that, yeah, you're not really getting the benefit of it. So basically what I do is just periodically to cheer myself up, I open up speed test and I just look at the speed and I'm like, whew, yeah, that's flying. Now what do? Staying on the topic of channel updates, next week, instead of the Not So Serious Keto video podcast, I will be doing another interview, and this is with someone that a lot of you have requested that I interview, and it's Indigo Neely. I'm really excited to have her on. She and I actually had a call, sort of a Zoom type of a call. It was really a tech test. We wanted to make sure that the audio and video were working fine on both of our ends, that we had, you know, decent enough internet that we could pull off a video conversation and record it and that it would stay in sync and all that. And our initial intent was that it was just going to be a couple of minutes of just the tech aspect. And we got talking. She is a wonderful person. I really like her. And I'm very excited to be able to have her on as a guest of the podcast. So that will be next Monday. Stay tuned. I'm excited for that. I hope you are too. Sort of on the topic of interview/co-podcasts, when I did the last one with Dennis from Black Tie Kitchen, I had mentioned that one of the ways that I measure how the channel is growing, it's not versus other YouTube channels or other keto channels, but rather I look at the most populated cities in the United States and see where I am versus cities. Like how big would I be if all of my subscribers formed a city? And I'm pleased to announce that I just passed Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And that's important to me because I was born in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And so it sort of makes it cool. I know I have a couple of subscribers, at least from Sioux Falls. I don't think anybody, though, from my high school. That would be kind of interesting if someone from my high school subscribed and said, hey, Steve, remember me? And along those lines, I was out on LinkedIn yesterday. or the day before, yesterday or the day before. And I don't get out onto LinkedIn very often. To me, it's worse than Facebook in terms of just how self-congratulatory so much of it is. But I got out onto LinkedIn and I saw the little comment bubble, like, you've got a message. And I clicked on it, and it was from a guy that he and I used to co-instruct some classes. His name is Ryan, and probably the nicest guy, if not the nicest guy I know, he was definitely the nicest guy I knew at GE. In fact, I almost felt like he was in danger at GE because he was so nice in an environment where a lot of people are not all that nice. But he sent me a message telling me that was kind of updating me on his life. He, let me know that he had tried out keto and had lost some weight, and then went off keto and gained back some weight. But then his son wound up being diagnosed with diabetes and spent about 4 days in the hospital. And Ryan then decided, okay, how do I deal with this? How do I feed him? Can I find some recipes that are low carb and diabetic friendly? And he discovered my channel. And he didn't know it was me because I look a lot different than I did 5 years ago. And so I don't have probably the mustache and the beard that he remembers, and I weigh like 70 pounds less or so about right now. But he said he recognized the voice, and he's like, where do I know that voice from? And eventually he realized, oh, that's Steve from GE that I used to teach with. So it was super cool. It was super cool that he discovered me out on YouTube. And coincidentally, he also decided to better his life by giving up alcohol 2.5 months ago. So he saw, oh great, Steve, he's on keto, he quit drinking. It was the neatest thing for me to see that and to get that comment from Ryan. And I hope that my recipes help out his boy. The last thing that I want to cover in this podcast, a little health update, because I've talked about my knees in the past and how about 12 years ago I had seen an orthopedic surgeon who essentially said, yeah, you need new knees. And, kind of wanted me to push it off a little bit before having surgery just so I could get a little bit older and hopefully my knee replacement would last me the rest of my life. So I went to see another orthopedic surgeon a week or two ago. This one was recommended by my wife. She used to work with a guy, and an entirely different and better experience. You go to see a surgeon, and a surgeon wants to cut. That's what they want to do. My wife has described doctors. There's two types of doctors generally. There's Dr. Script, who likes writing prescriptions, and there's Dr. Cuts, who likes doing surgery. And this guy that I had seen previously was Dr. Cuts. This new one that I saw, we had the x-ray, he pulled it up, he showed me the x-ray. He's like, honestly, yeah, your knees aren't perfect, but you don't need surgery. In fact, I'd like to start you out at the very easiest thing, which is let's just try giving you a cortisone shot. It's cortisone, right? I think that's it, not cortisol. Yeah, cortisone. A cortisone shot. Let's see how that feels. And if that works for you, great. If not, then we move up the scale a little bit. Maybe we look at the, platelet-rich plasma, I think it's called, PRP. And some of my viewers have suggested that. He said that works out pretty well. Unfortunately, it's not covered by insurance, so if the cortisone works, then great, we'll go with that. It was just such a breath of fresh air for me to see a doctor who wants to do the least invasive thing, the thing that's easiest and cheapest and covered by insurance, and let's just not, go with the nuclear option right away. So I got the cortisol shot, and my knees feeling better. I'm also starting to do, because a number of you recommended the knees over toes guy. He's got a channel on YouTube. I watched a little bit of it, but they recommended backward walking and some of the other exercises that he does. So the last couple of days as I've gotten up to do my morning sprint routine, once I'm done, I walk a few blocks, probably, 3/10, 4/10 of a mile backwards, which feels a little bit weird. You feel a little bit awkward. Fortunately, I'm up early enough that there's nobody else out that's going to see me, so I don't have to worry about feeling foolish. And certainly, if it makes my knees feel better, then who cares if I feel foolish because I'm feeling better. But I will keep you up to date on the status of my knees for those of you who care. And I think that's about it for this podcast. So remember, make sure you tune in next Monday when I have my interview with Indigo Nilly. Like I said, I can't hide my enthusiasm for it. She is super neat. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. So with that, thanks for watching or listening.